Hey everyone, this is Laura from Something Witchy. Skye and I wanted to take a quick break from talking about Sabrina to talk about something super important, voting.
That's right. It might seem like elections are just about the presidential race every 4 years, but your local and state elections are just as important, if not more so.
Absolutely. I actually got to participate in the caucus system in my state, and it was really eye-opening. I never realized how much a small portion of the population was deciding who ends up on the ballot.
It's a great reminder that our voices matter, even at the local level. Every vote really counts, whether it's city council, school board, or even ballot measures that impact your daily life.
Exactly. Voting isn't just about the big national elections. Local elections are where a lot of the decisions that affect your community are made. Plus, the people you vote for at the local level often go on to influence things at the state and national level too.
So, if you're listening and you're not registered to vote yet, what are you waiting for? It's super easy to register. There are so many resources online like vote.org that can help you get set up.
And if you're already registered, yay! Now make sure you actually vote when the time comes. Whether it's early voting, absentee, or showing up at the polls on election day, your vote matters. We can't let a small group of people decide everything for us.
And don't forget, local elections and primaries happen more often than you think, so check your local election dates and make a plan to vote. Your voice really does make a difference.
Seriously, guys, democracy works best when everyone participates. Don't sit on the sidelines, get out there and make your voice heard.
And after you vote, come back and listen to us talk about Sabrina again. But first, vote. It's one of the most magical things you can do.
Thanks for listening, witches. Go make a change in your community and your country. Now, back to the magic. Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Something Witchy. I am Laura Cotter.
And I'm Skye Orchard.
We are so happy to have you back with us so that we can not scare you off with the first episode.
Yet.
There's still time.
Never judge anything by its pilot.
All right, Skye. So I have a question for you. If you could use truth sprinkles on anybody to get the answer to a question that's been bothering you, what question would you want answered?
Are we going like full-on conspiracy theory answers?
I think that's the best way to do it, yeah.
I do like some of the crazy moon landing theories out there, but also recently came across the whole, is the Earth already in a black hole?
Okay, I haven't heard that one. What is that one?
So basically there's a whole bunch of just theories, since we do have CERN, and that, yeah, the Earth is already in a black hole, and that's part of what's like causing all the craziness. It sort of ties into the whole, are we in a separate dimension because of the nuclear collider actually happened? Like,
who would you give the truth sprinkle to find that? Who do you think knows that?
I have no clue, but I'm putting more power behind these sprinkles than they probably have, but that's the answer I want.
Okay, that's a good one. Mine is a little... I think I'm maybe the only person in the world who has this conspiracy theory, and it's pretty specific. So back in 2009, there was a swine flu pandemic.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, it killed like between 200 and 300,000 people. It didn't get, especially now compared to COVID, it did not get as big as a lot of other pandemics have been. So it kind of didn't really get a ton of attention. But I was working at the pharmacy at the time. And because of that swine flu pandemic, we all of a sudden started getting massive amount of prescriptions written for Tamiflu. Whereas before, I didn't even know what Tamiflu was. No one ever wrote for it. Tamiflu was not a thing. But ever since then, Tamiflu is prescribed all the time now for like regular flu. It was prescribed. I think they tried prescribing it during COVID. I don't think it did anything for COVID, but I think they tried it. So my theory is that the makers of Tamiflu, who I believe is Roche Pharmaceuticals, I'm going to look it up just to make sure that I'm claiming the right pharmaceutical company is evil. Genentech. That's sorry, Roche. Apologies to Roche. Please don't sue me. Genentech, you can sue me. My conspiracy theory is that they actually are the ones who started the swine flu pandemic down in Mexico, knowing that Tamiflu would actually treat it so that people would then start using Tamiflu, because that stuff was back ordered for months and the prices on it skyrocketed. That's my conspiracy theory.
I don't know if I've taken Tamiflu, despite getting the flu pretty frequently.
It's like you have to prescribe it like right away. It's really only effective in the first 48 hours, which is also why it was never prescribed, because it was like either prescribe it immediately or just deal with the flu for 3 days.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also don't think I remember that the swine flu actually had a death toll attached to it. A lot of people at Utah State Theater Department had swine flu actively, and we're trying to, rehearse for the production of Sweeney Todd. So exciting times.
I didn't know anybody who actually got it. That's wow.
Yeah, I can think of like 3 to 4 names off the top of my head just right now.
Like, generally, I trust medicine, obviously, but that's the one where I'm like, it was just weird timing. It was really weird timing. And Tamiflu was the only thing that helped. So,
well, if we have any pharmacists listening, tell us your thoughts. If there are any lawyers listening who want to help with a libel suit, possibly.
We better have at least one pharmacist. Stephanie better be listening to this, or else she's no longer my friend.
Oh, ultimatums have been made.
So that was a fun way to start off our episode. How did your bundt baking go? We both made bundt cakes.
Yes, that was my very first bundt cake I've ever made. I was a little concerned, but I made a gluten-free orange vanilla bundt cake and then threw in some vanilla protein powder to make it a little healthier in my mind as I eat it.
I don't think that's a cake anymore. I think that's like a protein bar in the shape of a cake.
I only threw like 2 scoops of protein powder in.
Okay.
It probably equals out with the sugar. I didn't have stevia to put in, so I did put real, honest to God sugar in the mix. So,
do you ever just have like regular cake, or does it always have to be a healthy version?
I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things post-festival. I like to stress eat, and I like to stress eat sugar. So I'm trying to make it, if I'm having sugar as a treat, let's try and make it a little healthy until I get back into control. Because as Salem says in this episode, we don't have waistbands in our fursuits or our human suits. How was your cake?
Mine, I think I over-greased the pan because that sucker just slid right on out.
Nice.
I got a little worried about it sticking because I borrowed my mom's bundt cake pan, and she was like, make sure that you butter it and flour it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to town on this thing. And it just right out.
I debated if I needed to flour it, but then I just did olive oil spray everywhere. And it was a brand new pan, so I think that probably helped.
My mom's is like a cast iron bundt brand cake.
Yeah, there's some crazy bundt pans out there. We stopped by the local mom and pop kitchen store in Sugar House yesterday, and there were like $50 to $60 bundt pans there.
What? Okay, we did bundt pans. Let's talk about the show that we're here to talk about, shall we?
Great idea.
This is season 1, episode 2, titled Bundt Friday. Description for this episode is under the influence of truth sprinkles, Sabrina learns honesty is the best policy. It originally aired on October 4th, 1996. It was directed by Gary Halverson, who has a long directing resume, including 55 episodes of Friends, 61 episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond, and 3 episodes of another TGIF show, Teen Angel. Writers for this episode were Nell Scoville, Jonathan Schmock, and Norma Safford Vila. Guest stars, again, it's a long list. Bridget Flannery and Melissa Marie Much are back as Jill and Cece, which I think at this point I'm just going to stop calling them out every episode because I think they're here to stay for a while. Ella Joyce is Mrs. Bogzigian. She's best known for her role as Eleanor Emerson on the sitcom Rock, which ran from 1991 until 1994 on Fox, which I've never seen, but apparently it was well known. Eddie Allen plays the guidance counselor. You probably know him from things such as Melrose Place, Seinfeld, and one of our other favorite shows, Bones.
Love Bones.
Ariel Felix plays one of the teachers, also known from my favorite soap opera, Passions. And recently in the 2023 movie Plane, Tom McGowan, who plays Principal LaRue, which at this point, what has he not been in? Most recently, American Auto, Veep, The Good Fight, Modern Family, Everybody Loves Raymond, several episodes of it. He's one of those people that shows up in everything. Curtis Anderson is student number 1, but he comes back later and gets a name of Gordy. Also, fun fact, Skye, he was in the Working the Glory movies number 2 and 3.
Whoa, I stopped at 1, so...
I did not know where they were Working the Glory movies.
There are.
I would assume. The guest star I'm most excited about is Philip Glasser, who's student number 2. He's Fievel. He's the voice of Fievel in the entire American Tail franchise. All the movies. I need to go back and watch those movies. It has been a long time. And then I read online that Elizabeth Hart, who's the sister of Melissa Joan Hart, is uncredited, But she plays Emma, and she's somewhere in the back of the Helmet class. I watched this episode twice. I didn't spot her. She'll be back in a later episode and actually get a name of Emma. But yeah, she's in there. Our cold open. So we're in Sabrina's bedroom. Sabrina's studying her magic book while her aunts are either cleaning or trying on her clothes. Not really sure what's happening there. But she's having a hard time understanding her magic book. Zelda offers to help her with a spell for silence, and she says some stuff that I did not catch the first time through. Hilda luckily translates it for us as put a camel tongue in your mouth. Sabrina says that it's really hard to study magic and she'd rather just do her homework. Zelda replies that magic is part of her education too and she needs to practice it. Hilda replies, why don't you just get a straw and suck all the fun out of it? And then has Sabrina try pulling a rabbit out of a hat. The rabbit asks her to put him back because his wife is about to give birth. That hat is the most 90s blossom hat that I love that she just had hanging out in her room. A+, no notes on that hat.
I would like to know the rules of when animals can and can't talk in this universe, because this rabbit's talking. Salem had to be a cursed human to talk. I just want to know the magic rules. Also, Hilda throwing in a nice zinger of, you're going to love this section, and Sabrina saying magic for dummies.
But also the Blank for Dummies books were huge in the 90s. I had an HTML for Dummies book.
Wow.
Back when I created my GeoCities webpage all about NSYNC.
That's amazing. No notes on that. Checks out.
I tried to find it in the Wayback Machine. Can't find it. It's gone. It's erased forever. GeoCities destroyed it. We get into our outfit intro. Our final outfit is a very Clueless-esque outfit, which specifically looks like Amber style from Clueless. And then Sabrina says, as if. Fun fact about this, I clocked it as an Amber style outfit. I looked it up. There's nobody who actually wears this outfit in Clueless. But Elisa Donovan is going to eventually become one of Sabrina's roommates in college, and she played Amber in Clueless.
Fun fact, I have yet to watch Clueless.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Were you not at my house that one time when we watched Clueless? A bunch of us?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we will watch Clueless together one day. Maybe between seasons 1 and 2, we'll take a break and do a Clueless rewatch.
It's on my list to watch. I just haven't. Clueless, Breakfast Club, like some of those movies, like just slipped away.
I just recently watched Breakfast Club. Apparently, like all the John Hughes movies were on Hulu or Netflix or one of those, and so I just went through a bunch of them.
Nice.
So it's the morning. Downstairs in the kitchen, Sabrina greets Salem. Salem says he couldn't sleep very well last night, and not even reading Sabrina's diary could put him to sleep. He asks about Harvey, but Sabrina says he's no one. Salem retorts, no one with the world's most perfect sideburns, and then starts taunting Harvey and Sabrina, Harvey and Sabrina. And Sabrina tosses him out the door. Goodbye, Salem.
With a great cat yell sound effect.
Hilda comes down and says she has a date with Drell. Zelda is disappointed, and Sabrina asks the big ugly guy with the mole. So round 2 reference for Molly the Mole. Zelda says every time he makes a date with Hilda, he breaks it, but Hilda retorts that he always sends a lovely token of affection when he cancels a pot roast.
Flowers wilt. Say it with beef. Checks out.
There you go. Great. Sabrina heads out to school with Salem still taunting her.
Love the Salem quote of, he picked her diary with his dew claw. I never realized that the thumb claw, unlike cats or dogs, was called the dew claw. Thank you, Salem, for educating me. I call it the hard claw to trim. You need this trimmed claw.
Yeah, it's Mabel's least favorite to get trimmed.
Who knows? Maybe the cats could be picking locks for me if I didn't trim that claw.
Do you want your cats to be able to pick locks?
I don't know. I might get desperate one day.
While they're having this conversation, Sabrina's over by the counter putting jam on some toast. But when we pull back, we show that it's a piece of bread with just like one lump of jelly on one corner. And she's chewing something, but there is not any bite mark anywhere on that toast. We are at school. Sabrina is in the home ec class and learning about napkin folding. Fact about me, Skye, I once really got into napkin folding in junior high and had several pages of instructions saved in a little box for when I was going to be a homemaker as an adult.
Was it because you didn't have access to cable TV?
Probably. Also, in the back of this classroom, there is a bulletin board with cutout letters that say 90s cooking on them.
In case we weren't sure of our time frame and what we're learning in home ec.
We are at cutting edge of cooking technology in this home ec class. The class is learning how to fold the bishop mitre. Libby and her friends are giggling in the back while looking at Sabrina and Jenny. Sabrina tells Jenny to ignore them. Harvey comes over and shows Sabrina and Jenny his folded snowball. He took home ec just to eat because his coach says he needs to bulk up. Sabrina says she'll keep him company while he eats pizza at the local pizza place. Jenny hands him his folded bishop's mitre. He puts it on his head and blesses them. Jenny watches Harvey gaze out the window and says she thinks he's thinking about poetry or nature, but Sabrina is pretty sure it's just football. Sabrina asks if Jenny would rather go alone with Harvey to get pizza, but Jenny assures her that she doesn't. Sabrina's been slacking off on her bishop's mitre and uses magic to make a rose when the teacher comes by, while Jill fully watches this happen in the background and then has a shocked look on her face when Sabrina shows her rose. New theory, Jill knows that Sabrina is a witch. She just keeps it to herself. I'm going to go through the rest of this series, convinced Jill knows.
We'll find out. I pulled up some napkin folding facts to contribute here. Napkin folding became popular in the 19th century, as we see here, but during the mid-18th century, during the golden age of napkins, is literally how the internet described it. There was a school in Nuremberg, Germany, that was dedicated solely to napkin folding. You missed your time, Laura. You need a time machine back in middle school.
So was this one of the schools that ladies were allowed to attend? Or was this, was napkin folding solely a male endeavor?
It was a butler endeavor, so it was limited thanks to the patriarchy.
Eventually they gave us back napkin folding, and then it became a lady thing again. But, they can have napkin folding back. In the hallway, Libby walks by, says, "Hi, Sabrina," and immediately starts giggling with Cece. Sabrina confronts her, and Libby tells her to leave them alone. Libby hits them with a cutting freak and double freak. Sabrina wishes she knew what Libby was saying, but Jenny believes it doesn't matter since everything Libby says is a lie. Sabrina asks what lies they could spread about Libby, and Jenny helpfully offers that she's sweet and nice. Jenny says the world would be a better place if everyone told the truth, but you can't stop someone from lying.
Foreshadowing.
But yes, you can stop someone from lying, Sabrina discovers when she's checking her magic book back in her bedroom. You use truth sprinkles. That's how the Witches' Council got Salem to confess to his world domination plans. Sabrina grabs him to go downstairs to help bake.
Truth sprinkles are evil. They got our man Salem caught and confessed. So I'm justified, I feel like, in my earlier not initially putting sprinkles on my bundt cake when I sent you the photo, because I'm sticking up. It was a solidarity protest for my man Salem. It's my new excuse. Before I then sprinkled half the cake.
I love sprinkles. Sprinkles on ice cream, sprinkles on some hot chocolate with a little bit of whipped cream on the top. I would definitely be duped by truth sprinkles. I don't know if you noticed this, Skye, but as we're panning out of her bedroom, the camera passes by her desk. On the corner of her desk is the tiny cauldron they gave her for her birthday in the last episode, and it is holding her pens.
I think there's still a more economical use for that cauldron. I actually realized I have a cauldron sitting here in my drink cabinet I found this past Halloween. Use it as a soup tureen is my plan, but right now it's holding a bunch of Halloween candy, which is more economical space. This is my hill to die on, is this cauldron and how it is being utilized.
Sabrina's down in the kitchen. She preheats the oven to 500 degrees, but Salem corrects her that she needs to go to 5,000 degrees. Fahrenheit or Celsius, I don't think it matters at 5,000. It doesn't specify. I'm going to go with Fahrenheit. Zelda comes home and offers instant sprinkles instead of making them from scratch. At this point, I completely paused the episode to look up how to make sprinkles, and it's actually not that hard. It's just corn syrup and sugar and coloring. And then you mix it up basically like an icing, and then you use a piping bag and a little piping tip to make a little line, and then cut them up.
So when you get the shaped sprinkles, is it like a tiny, tiny cookie cutter that you're bloop, 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 bloop along the line?
I didn't look up those. I just looked up the
basic sprinkles.
I would assume it's some sort of either or a tiny tip of a piping tip of some sort. So we can add this to our Sabrina cookbook, is our truth sprinkle recipe. Zelda tells her about the secret cabinet hidden behind the talking picture of Louisa, which I had to go back and repeat to figure out what Louisa's name was saying when she was saying it. Louisa is about to spill the tea on Salem, but Zelda interrupts her. Hilda comes in and admits she took the sprinkles with her to a car repair appointment, but the mechanic was telling the truth about her needing new brake pads. The sprinkles are called Jiffy Truth. Hilda tells Zelda that the postman has a crush on her, but Zelda says that's not what the sprinkles are for. Sabrina says it's a serious matter because Libby has been spreading lies and it's upsetting Jenny. Just Jenny. Hilda offers Lady Baldspot as a backup plan. Zelda warns that the truth can have painful side effects. Itching, chafing, and hurt feelings.
Just like gym class. Clearly, we cannot trust a cabinet or a closet in this house. Everything is going to have some either magical portal to Witch's Council or ingredients, or there's bodies hidden somewhere, I'm now determined, in one of these secret closets.
We haven't even gotten to the episodes where they go in the basement, so...
Oh, snap.
Louisa, we haven't seen her move. We haven't seen her speak. She's just always watching and listening. She's like Alexa. She's like Amazon Alexa.
I also like how the effect they chose to do was just move the lips. And so it looked like almost the intro to SpongeBob where the captain's just lips moving as well. Sabrina did it first.
Back at school, Libby tells Harvey that Sabrina has had a nose job. But Harvey, the sweet himbo, does not understand what she is implying. This point in the episode, Libby wins worst outfit of the episode. That black jumper dress does not work on camera. It makes her look pregnant. I don't like it. The home ec teacher announces that it's Bundt Friday. Richard Nixon's favorite snack food was the Bundt. He'd secretly eat it and then deny it. But if you listen closely to those tapes, which was a joke that went way over my head when I was a tiny 10-year-old watching this episode. Also, maybe fun fact, Nixon's favorite snack was actually cottage cheese and ketchup.
Together?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like some shit my grandpa would do when he was alive. And I don't get it. Different times.
I think it's one of those like Depression War era foods. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll tell our kids one day about the COVID era foods.
DoorDash, Instacart.
Teacher tells them to smell their bunts and their neighbors' bunts. Sabrina offers Libby a piece of cake with sprinkles since Libby's looks horrendous. In fact, Cece and Jill are throwing it up. Libby takes a bite and Sabrina asks what she's been saying behind their backs. The sprinkles kick in and Libby admits that she said that Jenny's father is in jail and she cheats on tests and said Sabrina had a nose job. I don't know which of those three things is the worst, but I'm gonna say maybe Jenny's father being in jail. Also, that's a pretty easy lie to discredit when they see her dad walking around. Libby then tells Jill and Cece that she has admitted their lies to Sabrina. Libby further explains that Jill made up the nose job story, which is funny because Jill actually got a nose job. Cece also kisses her Pete Sampras poster every night, who is a former U.S. tennis player. If you did not know that, like I did not know that. Three of them start arguing. Sabrina goes back to Jenny and notices that her sprinkles are missing. Mrs. Bogzigian took the sprinkles to the teacher's lounge and spread them around. Now we're in the hallway and two teachers come out of the teacher's lounge with one saying how he's going to the racetrack, and Sabrina decides that some more honesty couldn't hurt.
So yes, I made a healthy bunt, but at least I did not make a 14-grain bunt. That, I think, is what doesn't count as cake anymore. I don't even like 9 grains, so I feel further justified with my 2 scoops of protein powder. Do we think that there was a regular mortal sprinkle container in the Jiffy Truth box, or did Sabrina dump out some regular mortal sprinkles to get that regular sprinkle container?
I don't remember what it looked like when...
It's a clear plastic container with a red lid now, where you can clearly see the sprinkles, whereas the Jiffy Truth box, it looked like almost a box of cornstarch or like baking soda where the sprinkles were just in this blue box.
Maybe she did switch them so that it wouldn't look sketchy when she took them to school. I didn't notice that. I'm going to go with she switched them.
Okay. Wall posters. Who did you have on your wall growing up?
I didn't really put...
Not saying you kissed your posters, just who was on your wall.
I didn't have posters on my wall, but I did have my locker that I shared with my best friend fully plastered with Insane. My favorite was JC. Her favorite was Lance. So that was basically what our locker looked like, because we shared a locker from like 7th grade through 10th grade. I think that whole time, that's what our locker looked like.
My posters, I had a lot of movie posters, but then I also had a lot of just Orlando Bloom as an entire poster. I had like 4 or 5 just Orlando Blooms.
That's a good choice. I approve of that choice.
What a time.
I was more of a Viggo Mortensen when Lord of the Rings came out, but then once Pirates of the Caribbean came out, I fully understood the Orlando Bloom craze.
I'm glad you finally joined the team at some point. The spirit of Bundt lives in making the world a better place.
Which does it?
That's what we've been told in this episode. So there we have it. World peace. Bundt cakes.
I guess that's why nothing Bundt cake is so popular.
I almost was lazy and just went to a store and picked up a mini Bundt yesterday.
I was at the grocery store yesterday and they had pre-made ones. They even had like half ones. So if you don't want the full Bundt cake, you could just get half of one.
Look at where we are at in the world today.
Back in the home ec room, Jill is saying that Libby is not a size 3 and is in fact a size 5. Libby admits to kissing someone named Danny. Harvey has also eaten some of the sprinkles and admits he took home ec because he likes cooking a lot. We then see Gordy over his shoulder staring very intently at Harvey's Bundt cake, and when Gordy tries to take a piece of it, Harvey smacks him on the hand. Jenny takes a bite of the last piece with sprinkles and confesses that she lied and would rather go to the slicery alone with Harvey because they might be soulmates. That sounds like me in high school. I talked to a guy twice. I'm like, we're soulmates. Sabrina lies and says she doesn't mind, but she's obviously very upset by this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sabrina walks down the hall alone while Libby, Cece, and Jill call each other names like freak and push each other around. They need another word. I know it's like 4 years of freak insults. We need another word.
I also heard, I'll have to go back and check the closed captions, but mutant and shovelhead were the other 2 insults tossed in that hallway between them. But there were a lot of freaks.
I feel like freak is their best option. Then if it's freak or shovelhead, I think freak is the best. Sabrina walks past a room where the guidance counselor is talking to a student and hears him say how he was born to be a blues player and that some poor kid scored a 432 on the SAT, but that Welcome to Loserville song sounds pretty catchy. I'd like to hear a full version.
You know where that would play really well? TikTok.
Oh, I don't have TikTok. We should start a TikTok channel.
We can make a trend.
Welcome to Loserville.
Did we mention the poor awkward virgins?
We are getting to possibly the worst part of this episode. Gordy and the other kid, who is Fievel from American Tail, are talking in the hallway and admit that they're both virgins and they are super excited about it and then really awkward about it. I was kind of taken back that this was in a 90s sitcom. There are random moments of this throughout 90s sitcoms, but then I remember Blossom. Did you ever watch Blossom?
Oh, no.
Okay, there are like just a few episodes of Blossom that you really should watch where they got into like teen pregnancy and alcohol. Like Blossom was really controversial, I think, for like an early 90s. And then I look at stuff we're giving to teens today. Well, I mean, I guess Euphoria. Is Euphoria technically a teen show? I don't watch Euphoria.
Should it be a teen show?
It's about teens.
Yes, it is about teens. I don't know what the youths are watching today. I would have to go out and pull some kids on the streets.
Okay, that's our next assignment. Talk to some children.
It can be a TikTok as well. The Murray Mall seems to have youths around it on a Saturday.
I work with a bunch of Gen Zers. They all intimidate me.
Oh, yeah. We can just go to your work. Or I'll go to your work.
Yes, there we go. That's good. Principal LaRue comes over the intercom and says he's going to the movie like he does every Friday afternoon and uses the school petty cash to pay for his popcorn. Harvey asks why Sabrina isn't coming to get pizza. Sabrina runs off saying she's late for the bus. And Harvey says, hey, you run funny.
And also, is it something to do with your nose? Very concerned.
Harvey's he's so sweet. Tries so hard.
We do get a glimpse into Sabrina's locker for the first time. Nostalgia hit with did you ever have to wrap your textbooks with the brown paper? And it was like the first day of class was the worst 30 minutes of your life trying to wrap it correctly.
Oh, I did those, but I eventually upgraded to like spandex fabric ones that you could just like take off and reuse. That was the best part.
Do you also still have to do that?
Do they have textbooks? They all have Chromebooks now.
We really need to get some data.
We should go undercover and pretend to be high school students.
Yeah, I've got some of the lingo from my little brothers. I know what drip means.
Yes.
I know what ice means. It's all left me now, so I guess those are the two. I'm just going to be the Steve Buscemi from the SNL skit.
That's not SNL, that's 30 Rock.
I knew it was 30 Rock. I don't know why SNL would get into mind.
Because it's basically, 30 Rock is one giant SNL skit.
It's true. Tina Fey left SNL. It's all Tina Fey's fault.
100%. Hilda shuts Zelda's laptop and asks her to help choose between two outfits for her date with Drell, tough chick or damsel in distress. She splits the difference, but Zelda hates her outfit. But I love it and 100% would wear that, which I usually don't agree with Hilda's fashion choices. This one, Libby worst outfit, Hilda great outfits. Suddenly there's a buzzing from the oven timer and Zelda pulls out half a pot roast, indicating that Drell will be late. A depressed Sabrina walks in and Hilda takes off to avoid being contaminated by her sadness. Sabrina admits Zelda was right, but Zelda reassures her that the sprinkles will wear off after 24 hours.
The size of that laptop. I have people complaining to me daily that their MacBook is too heavy. And I would love to get some of Zelda's laptops in my hands to give to some employees who complain.
If it's that big, is it still a laptop or is it a word processor at this point? I know my sister had a laptop by the time she went to college in 1998. So I'm sure laptops were around, but I don't know how prolific they were.
Zelda's like an established scientist, right?
I believe so. Also, they're witches. They should be able to have the best technology.
I love how the wizarding witching world apparently just uses kitchen appliances for all communications. We had toaster communications last week, and now it's oven-based timer communications this week.
Do you think they can communicate through microwaves, or those... Does it take a while for witch spells to catch up to mortal technology? We'll see if we ever get a microwave message. Jenny and Harvey are at the slicery. The first time we see the slicery! Harvey says it's great not having Sabrina there because they can order onions. Jenny wants to get to know him better, but Harvey wants to play foosball. They have an awkward conversation about being cold and hot.
So awkward.
Skye, cold or hot? Which do you prefer? I'm cold.
Hot. I always am cold, and so I sleep with a weighted blanket no matter what, and several other blankets, even in the dead of summer.
Wow.
But then I also have flushing, so I can't actually in the winter zip up a coat around my neck because then I will overheat. It is the cruelest combination that could happen to me.
So no scarves.
Scarves are very hard. I can't do hot air blasting at my face, so if people need like heaters on in the car, it becomes a problem very quickly.
I just get angry. I've never liked having, like when I was little, I hated when my mom would blow dry my hair. To this day, I don't ever turn on. Mabel is here. Mabel wants to say hi.
Oh my gosh, River is at my feet. And I'm pretty sure Lydia's bell has been jingling in the background this entire time because she is a rude cat and has no respect for this recording process.
You can't walk on the laptop, my friend. You can go over here. Zelda checks on Sabrina in her room, and there is a horde of rabbits. Zelda tells her to come downstairs and have a snack and gives her a cookie with sprinkles on it. Sabrina confesses that she's not okay with Jenny and Harvey being alone together. Sabrina then insults Zelda's dress on her way to confront Harvey and Jenny.
These rabbits are not talking. The first rabbit was talking. I would just like some magic rules. That's all.
Maybe these are the children his wife was about to give birth to, and they don't know how to talk yet. I don't. They look
big rabbits. Very.
They're magic rabbits.
We also see Zelda pouring a glass of milk despite us learning our milk magic spell last episode.
I also feel like Zelda is much more the don't overuse your magic type of person, where she prefers to do things the regular mortal way, if possible. Otherwise, this woman would have given us cold fusion by now.
Forget Bunts. Zelda could cause world peace or world destruction, depending on the case.
At the slicery, Harvey is on pizza slice number 7, and Jenny is making napkin swans. And then Harvey destroys her napkin swan. Sabrina barges in and tells Jenny the truth. Jenny admits Harvey is not her soulmate. Harvey agrees. Jenny says Harvey is a loud chewer. Harvey says he put pieces of paper in Jenny's hair when she wasn't noticing, or when she wasn't looking.
Okay, the slicery. It sounds like we're going to see it more often. And maybe I already have my answer in the title of slicery. But we know Harvey has to eat 8 slices. I've done my time working pizza. That is a large pizza. So do they not sell full pizzas? Harvey has a stack of like 6 plates in front of him. So is he getting these individual slices, going back and forth for them? Things could be a lot more efficient. Also, the amount of powdered pizza cheese he put on top of those pepperoni slices. I mean, he's following his coach's order to bulk up.
He's just doing what he's told. That's a good... I think it's... I don't know. We'll discover more about the slicery. We will talk at length. I'm sure in our cookbook we can add a slicery pizza recipe. Also, I know, even if I didn't know this, if you just took a screenshot of this episode without Sabrina or Harvey or anybody in it that I recognize, I would 100% know that this is in the 90s based on the amount of plaid that's in the background of the scene. The wallpaper is plaid. There's at least one person wearing a plaid shirt. There's so much plaid.
Plaid never goes out of style.
But it was especially prolific in the 90s. Hilda's on her way to the linen closet to go on her date with Drell. Again, another great outfit, but Zelda disagrees. And Hilda calls it another dimension of time and space, so that could explain some weird timeline issues with Hilda and Zelda. Zelda admits that she was wrong to doubt that the date would happen. Hilda goes to leave and then realizes she has the opportunity to turn the tables and stand Drell up. Zelda is super on board with this plan.
Give him a taste of his own pot roast.
Do you like pot roast?
I do like pot roast. I can do a good slow cook.
Ooh, maybe that goes in the cookbook. Drell's pot roast.
We'll workshop that name.
Back at the slicery, Sabrina and Harvey are playing foosball, and Sabrina has a secret to tell Harvey. You have the world's most perfect sideburns. And your breath smells when you eat onions.
We get our first kiss tease.
How many episodes do you think it's going to take us to get the first kiss? I think I kind of know, so I want to know what your guess is.
It will at least have to take until the end of the season.
We will mark that and see if you're correct. Salem, back home, has eaten a bunch of the pot roast. Sabrina comes in very happy, and as Zelda admits she tricked Sabrina and gave her ice cream sprinkles, which I kind of caught on to because I didn't hear the magic little doo noise when she first ate them. So Zelda says she did this to teach her a lesson. Sabrina is embarrassed by everything she said earlier and notes that Zelda changed out of the dress Sabrina insulted earlier, which means that Sabrina just fully insulted Zelda for no reason, although Zelda's dress was pretty bad.
I mean, I don't think what she's changed into is much better with the white fur collar.
No, I do not like animal print.
Another great Salem quote in the scene of, I wish my fur had an elastic waistband. Feel you, Salem.
At school the next day, Harvey invites Sabrina and Jenny to eat lunch together. Sabrina gets revenge and says hi to Libby and then starts giggling with Jenny. Libby admits she, Jill, and Cece are no longer friends until Jill and Cece come around the corner and suck up to her again. Another outfit note. They just have a lot of outfit notes on this episode. There was a lot happening. Sabrina's outfit is awesome, but I don't know if it's necessarily a school outfit, being a very velvet kind of short dress. It looks more like a business dinner outfit. But then Jenny is also just wearing a large velvet blue coat. So again, a season with another very 90s fabric, velvet.
The texture makes me cringe just thinking of it.
You've been over to my house since I've got my purple couch, right?
Yes, but it's not like
velvet.
It doesn't upset my fingers the way velvet does. It's not overstimulating.
It upsets Mabel's fingers, which is why I got it, because she won't pick it. Principal LaRue is back on the intercom doing damage control, but accidentally leaves the intercom on, admitting he was still lying. In our end tag, Sabrina is in her room putting rabbits back in the hat and naming them. 3 of the names she uses, Trisha, Samantha, and Brian, are all Melissa Joan Hart's siblings.
Gotta love a little Easter egg.
Oh, I also, at the beginning, forgot to ask overall thoughts and feelings on this episode and ratings.
It was good. I felt like a lot happened in this episode for only being 20 minutes, and an excuse to eat some cake while watching the episode. Now I feel like I also should have made a pot roast. I'm sure Drill will stand up Hilda sometime here in the future, is my hypothesis. I can make a pot roast.
I do think it definitely moved a lot faster than the first episode did. He still hasn't quite figured out his footing. It was still some weird moments where there were clear jokes, and either they didn't put in a laugh track or the audience just did not like the joke. But like, I kind of laughed at some of them. I was expecting to hear the laugh, and then there was just like silence. I'm like, okay.
Tough crowd.
But yes, it's getting better. It's very, very classic Sabrina. I think we'll hit our peak around season 3 or 4. Join us next time for season 1, episode 3, The True Adventures of Rudy Kazudi.
Ooh.
Any guesses what this is about, Skye?
Do I need to pull out like a cowboy hat and put on my Idaho drawl? Because I can. I got a bolo tie hiding somewhere. You're not going to give me any clues?
I'm not going to give you any clues. I want to know what you think it's about with Rudy Kazudi.
That was my hypothesis, so.
That it's about a cowboy?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you what it's about, or do you want to be surprised?
I'll be surprised.
Okay. It's not one of my favorite episodes of Sabrina, but it's one that I remember very strongly.
Ominous. Well, until then,
you can email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod. Until next time,
stay magical.